Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing where the best places are to sell your own artwork. All these places that are going to be mentioned in this video, I've either had personal experiences with them, or I know from word of mouth from other artists who have had experiences with them as well, who have said good things about them. So we're just going to go through a few of your options on what you can choose, and then you can make your own mind up once the video is finished on which ones you want to pursue yourself. The first place I'm going to mention is Artfinder. It's a site where I've been selling my work for about 4 to 5 years, and it's actually the first place I ever sold a piece of work, so I hold it quite close to my heart. The reason I like Artfinder so much is the fact that it's got a really good design, it's really easy to navigate, you've got great ways to get in touch with customers and to create this kind of dialogue with potential customers and clients. So when a customer purchases a piece of work from Artfinder, you are able to send them a message and they can send you messages back, and you can have a really good bit of banter with them and stuff. Sometimes they don't want to talk, but sometimes they do, and it is really nice to have that in place. Another thing I really like about Artfinder is the fact that I have complete control over when I can ship my works, how to package my works, and it's all kind of done on your own back. They don't kind of do it for you. It's up to you to package your own work, to find the company to deliver that to the customer, and I enjoy having that control, whereas some other websites, they do it for you and it can be a bit rushed and whatnot, whereas Artfinder, it's all up to you. Another couple of great features on Artfinder are the artist forum, where artists on the site can create dialogue and have a conversation with one another about whatever issues they might be having, any bugs on the site, any issues. It's really good, and sometimes you can have some really good conversations with certain artists. There's some quite quirky characters on Artfinder, which is always quite interesting. They also have a feature called Me at Work, where you can upload images, videos of behind the scenes footage of you working in the studio and stuff, so customers can relate and see what it is you're doing and what you're up to, and it's a lot more engaging than what other sites can be. Artfinder has a commission structure, so they take 33% commission from artist sales straight off the price of your artwork. So if you are going to go with Artfinder, make sure to take into account that these commissions and fees are going to be taken off and price your work accordingly. Obviously, if you've got very narrow margins on your artwork, you're going to have to keep that in mind, otherwise you run the risk of losing money. Obviously, all sites online and, well, pretty much all sites online and all real galleries and whatnot take a commission. It's not unusual, it's not strange, it's not weird. They have to make money, they have a business to run, and 33% is their commission, so just keep that in mind. Other than that, Artfinder is a really warm site. I don't have many negative feelings towards it. It's all been relatively positive, and you've got a real kind of community vibe to it. It's got great design, great graphics, easy to upload work, and it's definitely a site that I would recommend, especially starting off. You do have to apply to sell on Artfinder. It's not something you can just go for and upload stuff and then away you go. You do have to apply to sell on Artfinder. So whether you get accepted or not, depending on the quality of your artwork, is obviously up to the people of Artfinder. But it's definitely a site I would recommend, especially if you're starting out, or even if you're just struggling to figure out where to sell your work. Artfinder is definitely one I would recommend personally. The next site I would recommend to sell your artwork would be Sachi Art. I have sold a few pieces of work on Sachi Art and I do quite enjoy it. It's not my go-to. I much prefer Artfinder over Sachi Art, and the reason for this is when someone purchases something from Sachi Art, that you don't you don't get any dialogue, you don't get to get in touch with the customer or anything like that. You basically get sent over an email that said that this person's bought it, you need to package your piece of work up, stick your stickers on or whatever, and they send a courier to come along and pick it up, and then that's it. There's no review system like there is on Artfinder, so you never really get any feedback from customers. And some people might really like that. They might like to just package the work up, sell it, gone, and not have to worry about kind of the customer feedback aspect of selling your artwork. But for me, I really enjoy it. It helps you improve as an artist. It helps you, even if you get negative criticism or positive criticism, it helps you figure out what you need to do, what needs fixing, what needs sorting out. And although sometimes it can be a bit disheartening if you get a negative review or if you get a negative comment, it is really helpful to have. I also don't find Sachi Art as easy to navigate as Artfinder. I don't find the design of the site as good as Artfinder, but I do quite enjoy it. The reason I do like Sachi Art is the quality of that other artwork that's on the site. There is some really, really nice pieces of artwork on there at a really good price point too. And that's one thing Sachi Art has over Artfinder. From the very beginning, they had a system in place where someone could only upload a piece of work at a certain price point. So I think it might be $100. I'm not 100% sure. But that's the base level. You can't go under the $100 mark. Whereas Artfinder, they never used to have that. So you would see people uploading artworks for £1, £5, £10, and quite frankly, if you're going to buy a piece of artwork for £5, £1, or £10, you're going to get £1 or £5 or £10 worth of work, and it's not going to be very good. So Sachi Art, it kind of eliminates all that kind of, I don't want to call it tat, but kind of the really just naff stuff. It gets rid of that. And you find with Sachi Art that there is a higher quality of artwork on the site. There is still some lower quality work, but overall, there's the quality of the work is a lot higher, I find personally. Artfinder are implementing a price cap, and I think I'm pretty sure they've already done it so that the minimum price of an artwork can be, I think it's about £20-25, I might be wrong. But I think they could do a lot more. I think it could go up higher so that there's less kind of cheap stuff clogging up the site. And that's why I do like Sachi Art. If you are going to use Sachi Art, they take 35% commission. And they've also got discounts on their site, so be prepared for that. So when you're pricing your artwork, keep all of that in mind again. But it is a really good website to sell your work. It's a really good platform. It just doesn't have, for me, the community vibe that Artfinder has, but it's still definitely something I would recommend. It's not a bad site at all. It's a really good site. It just has some things that Artfinder doesn't, but just like Sachi has, Artfinder doesn't. Both very, very good sites to start selling your artwork on. The next one is Vangoart, and this is one I don't have a personal experience with. I've never sold anything on Vangoart. I don't have a profile on there or anything like that. But from the Artfinder forums, I do know that some artists use Vangoart to sell their artwork. They do take a 30% commission, so it's cheaper than Artfinder and Sachi Art. I'm not sure whether they'll have certain hidden fees in there or any other kind of discount codes or whatnot, so check that out before you do upload. Just like Artfinder, they have a curating team where you have to submit your work before you get accepted to sell on the site. So it's not like you can just go in and upload your work straight away. You have to be accepted onto the site. Looking at the site, I had a quick look, and for me, I don't love it. It's the kind of the design, and it kind of almost feels like a rip-off Artfinder. So for me, I would much prefer to choose Artfinder over Vangoart. But you might prefer Vangoart as well, and I have heard good things about it, so it's something that's worth checking out. Next up, we've got Etsy. Again, I don't personally sell on Etsy, but I know a lot of artists and crafters sell on Etsy. In fact, one major Artfinder artist who used to be featured in all the promotional emails, he was kind of the top dog of Artfinder at one point. You couldn't open an email without seeing a painting of his and whatnot, and he actually disappeared from Artfinder at some point. I'm not sure why, but I know you can find him on Etsy, so he moved over to Etsy for whatever reason, I'm not sure. But with Etsy, apparently it's 15 pence to list a piece of work or to list an item for 4 months or until it sells, there's a 3.5% transaction fee and a 4% payment processing fee. So they've got very smaller discounts, a smaller commission structure in place. But the good thing about Etsy is it's a marketplace, so you don't have to sell just your artwork. You can sell other little bits, other merchandise, prints, lots of other things to go along with that to complement the artwork if you wanted to do that. Again, I don't have any experience with Etsy, but I know lots and lots of people who use it, and I've never heard anything bad about it, so it could be something for you and something worth checking out. And this recommendation is slightly different, but it's implementing an e-commerce section on your own website to sell your artwork and sell your merchandise and your prints and whatnot. The trouble with this is if you don't have a big audience or you don't have many people already interested in your artwork, then you're not going to get the sales, no one's going to come to your website, and you're not going to sell anything. So I wouldn't recommend it until you've at least slightly established yourself so that people are actually driven to your website and are coming to buy directly from you. The only problem, obviously, with having the e-commerce site on your website is the startup fees. So it'll cost a bit of money to get it all running, up and running, started, and to keep it running as well. There's a lot more work involved in it, and it can be quite tricky and hard if you don't know what you're doing. There are tons of website builders out there that can help you with the e-commerce part of your site, such as Wix, Weebly, GoDaddy, loads more. I'll probably list loads of stuff down below for you to check out. But I wouldn't bother with that until you've actually got a customer base and a clientele who's interested in your work, because otherwise no one's going to come and visit your site, so there's no point. There's no point in wasting your money. But if you already are established, then it is something I would recommend, because you do cut out the commissions, you do cut out the hidden discounts and the hidden fees and whatnot, and it's nice to be able to sell things that just aren't primarily pieces of work, selling merchandise and prints to complement the artwork as well, which is always something that's nice to go alongside with it. And that pretty much makes up my list of online websites and sites to sell your artwork. But one thing, in the digital day and age, there are hundreds and hundreds of these different sites that you can sell your own artwork, and they end up being almost clones of one another, so it is hard to distinguish which ones are good, which ones are bad, and which ones to choose for you. In a digital world, we sometimes forget that there are real galleries that exist, and I would highly recommend going to your local galleries, or even galleries a little bit further out, and putting on exhibitions and putting work in brick and mortar galleries, so that people can actually come and see your work, experience your work, and potentially buy your work. Although with doing exhibitions and putting your work into galleries, you usually have higher rates, there's a lot more work involved, there's a lot more effort, but it can really pay off. Not just financially, sometimes you'll end up losing money because you've paid fees to put your work into the gallery, but it's nice to be able to talk to customers, interact with them, especially on preview nights. You might do some workshops there and really build up connections with curators, gallery owners. It's something I couldn't recommend enough. It's something that I never really used to do because I found it quite hard. I used to get really intimidated and nervous. But if you are, just try and knock them feelings aside and go for it. Because it is really worth your time and really worth your money or your effort. It can really pay off, and it's just really rewarding to put your work into a space, get it out of the studio so you can see it in a different light, see it in a different context, and build up this rapport and this engagement with the general public and with other like-minded people. Do take into account, though, with real galleries, their commission structure is usually a lot higher than online websites, because obviously they have business rates, they have rent to pay, they have usually a lot more staff to pay. So their commission structure can be anywhere from 50% way higher up. So be careful, because you can lose money, or you can sell work for really, really cheap in the end when the commissions get taken off. And another point I'll make is be careful of a thing called vanity galleries, and they are basically galleries that charge a phenomenal amount of money to put your work in a really small space or a tiny part of the gallery, and they charge you a lot of money. And usually they don't take any commission because they have no interest in selling your work. They're preying on the vulnerable artist, the starving artist, who are desperate to get their work out there and to get noticed. One thing I would recommend, if you are kind of wary of a gallery kind of ripping people off or whatever, look at reviews on websites or go and visit them in person, and you'll be able to tell what they're like. There was a gallery down in London that emailed me and approached me and wanted me to kind of put my work in their site, in the gallery space, and they were charging, I think it was about £500, maybe more. No, I think it was way more actually. I think it was nearer £1,000 for a tiny space in their gallery for a 2-week exhibition. And I was actually contemplating it, because obviously I was like, oh, it's London, it's probably just higher rent rates and whatnot. But it just didn't sit right with us. I was like, it's a lot of money for such a tiny space. So I decided to do some research online. I looked at the reviews, and I found reviews from other artists who said avoid it, because they have no intention of selling your work. They have no intention of promoting your work or have any interest in you or your artwork. All they're interested in is your money. And that's the kind of place you want to avoid. So if you're not 100% sure, do your research. Okay, and that pretty much does it for my list of where to sell your artwork. Obviously there are loads of places to sell, lots of different places. What I would recommend is focusing on 1, 2, possibly 3, and doing them really, really well. Don't spread yourself too thin. Don't go across 10, 15, 20 sites, 20 places selling your work, because you're not going to do them all well. They're all going to like kind of fizzle and fade, and customers aren't going to get the best from you. So stick to 1, 2 or 3 and do them very, very well, and find out the ones that work for you and the ones that don't. And the ones that don't, then just push them aside and focus on the ones that you enjoy doing. If you do use any of these, or you have any recommendations of any others that I've missed out, then let me know down below in the comments so other people can see. And if you have liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I upload a video once a week and you don't want to miss it. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye!